dkdynamite, and tonight we're going to be talking about some new Easter egg rewards, surprise changes in Black Ops 6 Zombies, and what could be an update on DLC 4 The Finale. Definitely stay tuned. But in the background we got some gameplay of Zombie Snacks, the brand new LTM which just came out a couple of days ago with the mid-season 3 update. For those that are confused on how the playlists are working right now, yes, they have permanently replaced Team Cranked with Zombie Snack. I don't think that mode is going to be coming back, at least not this season, but I wouldn't be shocked if by the end of this game cycle, similar to Cold War, they bring Cranked back in. Maybe not the Team Cranked version, but they might just leave that mode playable on all round-based maps. We'll just have to wait and see, but we're going to be going through quite a bit here in this vid. Feel free to refer to timestamps down below if you're interested. Now, I do want to start this video by talking a little bit more about LTMs in BO6 Zombies. So don't get me wrong, right? I'm happy to see that Zombies has been getting a lot of support when it comes to licensed collaborations and even challenge events. That's a step up compared to previous Call of Duty Zombie iterations where sometimes round-based or whatever zombie mode was offered in that game wouldn't really get anything anytime there's a new big update inside of a Call of Duty season. Now, the issue I've honestly had that I'm sure you guys could agree with is that the modes we've gotten in Black Ops 6 have been modes that we've already seen before, with the exception of that Squid Game LTM that really wasn't well received until they ended up adjusting it to where you were able to at least play until round 30. There was a very strange round 10 cap on that mode with no actual reward. There were extra benefits for running certain Squid Game operators, but that was it. That was a mode that I think was almost a fart in the wind for some people out there who weren't fond of the Squid Game collaboration. Apart from that, we saw Cranked, and then a variant of that, Team Cranked, followed by the mode that we got now, which is Zombie Snacks, both of which, or I guess almost all three of which, we saw back in Black Ops Cold War Zombies, because that game offered round-based Cranked and then a Zombie Snack type mode, but for Outbreak. Now, it's cool to see those modes get brought back, because, yeah, BO6 needs some extra game modes in Zombies, but maybe a bunch of other original LTMs are being saved for Black Ops 7 or something? Totally a possibility. I'm just ready for some LTMs that maybe aren't even limited, but permanent modes that cut off certain sections of a map and do introduce a challenge that is very different from the usual gameplay loop, right? The LTMs we've gotten in BO6 are really just experiences that have added different gameplay modifiers with the ability to still do, let's say, the main quest or reach a high round while playing that mode. Hopefully we get something drastically different either at the end of this game cycle or in COD 2025. Now, I think it's also great to see these milestones get added in, where if you're beating an Easter egg or hitting a certain high round while playing these LTMs, you can be rewarded with Gobblegums or XP, even calling cards. That's also a good step in the right direction compared to recent years, like I've said before, where you might just get a sticker or nothing at all. But I think on the case of Gobblegum rewards, I think the Gobblegum system in general also hasn't been all that well received for Black Ops 6, and there's a big reason for that. And I think a reason that we also went into in the recent bombshell is that the Gobblegum system doesn't really break the boundaries of round-based zombies like it did back in BO3 and kind of BO4. The Gobblegums in this game feel a bit watered down to where they're really just boosts. They're not really anything that are game-breaking, which I think would actually increase popularity of the Gobblegum system, but I totally get it. If there's dashboarding or if the gums are too powerful, that would make the game far too easy. So I understand finding that balance, which I think Treyarch focused on a lot with the BO6 Gobblegum system. But look at this change, for example, right? Now there's a 5-second cooldown when you spin Gobblegums instead of a 5-minute one, which was wild. And on top of that, there is now just a 2-second activation delay when actually spinning for a Gobblegum before you can then pick it up. Clearly that change, or both of those changes, would not have been introduced if the Gobblegum system was popular, right? They also overhauled Gobblegums a couple of months ago when they made it to where, hey, it's going to be like BO4 now, where you can spawn in with the ones you've selected. In this case, for BO6, you can spawn in with 3 of the 5 that you've selected. They wouldn't have done that if people just weren't using the gums. Another big problem is that there aren't any classics. I mean, I think people are probably a little bit more fearful with using the consumables. If they don't have hundreds as like some big stockpile for all of the good ones, they're not going to really want to use them all too often, especially if they're limited on how many they can use. I think it is a bit of a step back to not have at least some of these Gobblegums be classics like Anywhere But Here or Temporal Gift, Arsenal Accelerator. And I think it's pretty obvious that if people haven't been using Gobblegums all that much, that means people probably aren't really buying them that much in the bundle shop either. And you know, higher ups, either Activision or Microsoft, are going to want to make a change to where people are then encouraged to start spending money in the shop on various Gobblegum packs. Now, I know the speedrunning community was pretty upset about the Gobblegum changes, but at the very least, it gives them new opportunities to hit some crazier records and an opportunity to make even more content. Now before we continue, I want to let you know about today's sponsor, Aniba, an online marketplace that offers the best deals on digital gift cards, game codes, and even DLC. Users can also earn cashback on select purchases so that they can play more and spend less. If you want to check out Aniba, then click on the special link down below in this video's description or the pinned comment. And thank you to Aniba for sponsoring tonight's video. Now, with the release of the mid-season, we also got various buffs to a couple of Pack-a-Punch weapons like the Marine SP, the Maelstrom Shotgun, and even the Goblin, right? The Goblin has been pretty fun to use, as you'll see some footage of in the background, especially with the mini rocket conversion that we just unlocked through the recent event pass. But the Maelstrom Shotgun was already fairly broken against a number of bosses. It's a weapon that I don't think's ever really been very good in multiplayer, Warzone, nor is it ever really good in zombies until you upgrade it. Yet, you guys have probably seen some viral clips now of people absolutely shredding and insta-killing various phases of the Terminus boss or the T-Rex here on Shattered Veil. The Maelstrom is an absolute monster. I'll put a lot on screen that you guys are going to want to try to use. Get a legendary tool or get tier 3 on the actual Shotgun's Pack-a-Punch and watch this thing go to work. It's a pretty cool buff that, again, when paired with double tap, is going to make for some very broken gameplay that I'm surprised Treyarch hasn't nerfed or adjusted yet. Maybe they will in Season 4, but for now, have at it and have some fun with the Maelstrom Shotgun. Now, I do want to remind you guys that this Tuesday is the Blaze of Glory Challenge event. I thought it was going to be a Thursday, but nope, it's already scheduled in the event tab right now. And with this event, you have to collect Blaze Bucks off of fallen enemies or in supply caches in Warzone. This event hasn't actually leaked out in full yet to where data miners have force loaded all the challenges or rewards in game, but we do know it's going to be a collection event similar to Archie's Festival Frenzy in December or the Terminator event back in Season 2, to where you can pick and choose which rewards you want to unlock first, depending on how many Blaze Bucks you have that you can redeem for that reward. The Frostblast field upgrade is going to be a part of this Blaze of Glory event, which means that folks will be able to go ahead and work right towards that field upgrade if they want, while avoiding some of the other items. It's not going to be a linear event where you have to go from start to finish, but the funny thing is you can actually research the augment upgrades for Frostblast right now, which I'd highly recommend doing if you're going to be going ahead and using the field upgrade later this week. You can play some zombies this weekend, get all those augments, and have Frostblast already decked out as soon as this Tuesday. Now, amongst one of the other surprises here with the Mid-Season 3 update is a change to the Fog Rolling In Easter egg. That's the name that the community gave that side quest on Shattered Veil a couple of weeks back, and that's the way Treyarch actually refers to it as in the recent patch notes. I think this is a great move that needs to happen more often. If there's a side Easter egg that, for whatever reason, is a bit tedious with a lackluster reward, would not mind Treyarch revisiting that quest throughout the next title update and just offering better rewards for the work that goes into this. So for those out there that weren't aware, I actually didn't include a guide on this quest in my side Easter egg video for Shattered Veil. I mean, the quest wasn't even solved when I made that video, but I didn't even make a short on it because the rewards were so silly. But now I actually want to revisit this quest. So as far as how it works, here it goes. So what you're going to need is the Wonderwaff DG2. Unfortunately, my Wonder Bar spin didn't give it to me. It didn't even give me a Mark II. I got a Mark I, which really set me back, right? I didn't have any other Wonder Bars on me at the time. So what you're going to want to do is get the Wonderwaff, which does require you to at least fully upgrade one of the Mark II variants and do one of the paintings to progress the Easter egg past step 1. Once you get the Richtofen quote, you can do the Wonderwaff quest, as I've covered many times here on the channel, and once you have the Wonderwaff, you can begin. So you want to pick up a mini vermin that could be located right here in this vent by the portal underground. Once you have this piece, you can place it on the tray here inside of the laboratory where SAM is, and once you place it down, you want to shoot 3 chemical vials in the correct order. The order is given to you on a poster outside of a barrier not too far away. If you use a sniper, it's easier to see this, but you're going to see pink or purple, orange, and green. And what you're going to notice is there's actual droplets dripping from each of the containers on the poster, which will indicate the order you have to shoot these in. So in my game, you'll see a 1 by pink, a 2 dripping from orange, and a 3 dripping from green. What you want to do now is walk up to this tray, place that mini vermin down until you can see it, and then what you want to do is shoot the canisters in the right order as we saw on the poster. So you'll see here I'm shooting pink first, then orange, then green. If you did it correctly, you'll notice that the mini vermin piece is going to start glowing. If you did it wrong, you've actually ruined the entire quest and you have to restart the game, sadly. So it's not one of those things where you can just pass the round and give it a try on the next one. Sadly, it's that strict. Once you've done that, you want to collect the glowing vermin piece and bring it to a microwave inside of the mansion. There's actually 3 different microwaves you can choose from. Doesn't matter which. I chose the one here by the bar. Go ahead and interact with the microwave microwave, placing the vermin piece inside, and give it like 20 seconds or so until you notice that there's a red glow above the microwave. Once you see that, you can go ahead and collect the vermin piece, where you want to bring it back downstairs by the laboratory, kind of near the staircase going up to Pack-a-Punch, and you'll notice a bunch of blood on the floor. You want to place this vermin piece in the blood, and now what you want to do is use the Wonder Waft to shoot the fan, which will suck up the vermin piece, sending this red mist to all the ventilation around the mansion, so that when you go outside, you'll see that through every chimney, there is red mist coming out of the mansion itself. Once you see that, you want to acquire a chopper gunner, and you want to shoot all the red mist that you see while in the chopper gunner until you don't see any more mist. Now, this could be something, again, that'll take you a decent amount of time to set up because you want to get salvage to buy a chopper gunner. You're going to want to make sure you have the Wonder Waft on you, which can actually drag quite a bit because you can't even start the Mark II process until around 10. So if Wonder Bar isn't on your side when going for this Easter egg, things could be frustrating. But once you've shot all the chimneys or all of the red mist, fog will now roll into the map. And what you want to do as fast as you can, once they spawn in, is shoot all the purple crystals that you'll see around you, right? They're typically found all outside, not in the mansion at all, and every time you shoot X amount of crystals, you could be rewarded with a very exclusive reward now. Before, it would just give you armor, salvage, maybe some equipment, but now for these specific milestones that you see on screen, you can actually get legendary crystals and even ether tools. So it looks like after your 8th crystal is destroyed, you'll get a blue ether tool and a PAP 1 crystal. After the 16th crystal is destroyed, you'll get a purple ether tool and a PAP 2 crystal, but after your 24th, you'll get an orange ether tool and a PAP 3 crystal. So this again is a pretty tedious process. You're also timed on shooting these crystals because I want to say after maybe 2 to 3 minutes, the fog will recede and you won't see any more ether crystals around the map. So you're kind of timed on shooting enough of these to get some of these rewards. If you at least get 16 crystals shot, that's not bad to get a boost on PAP 2 and a purple ether tool. This is something that I would probably do if a friend joins late and you already have a Wonder Waft on you, or an Easter egg run where you're like, hey, I'm gonna go for the Waft anyway, then you kind of do this alongside that. Then that's cool. If you're again going for a good boss fight or a good Easter egg run, then you can go ahead and maybe do this side Easter egg to help somebody out, which saves a bunch of points and a lot of salvage. Now, the last thing I want to end with is a bit of an update on DLC 4, aka Janus Towers. According to data miners out there isn't another map in the Black Ops 6 zombie files, which has sparked a bit of controversy around the community, right? A lot of folks were in denial, saying that there's no way Treyarch would kind of tease us this way, where there's a new round-based map every season, just to stop after Shattered Veil and give us one more map that'll last us the entire second half of the life cycle. And I get it. I hear you guys completely. It would be pretty weird to see that, even though we looked at just 4 DLCs in Cold War, which I know included Outbreak, but in just about every Treyarch Zombies iteration, we've just gotten 4 DLCs, even after a big launch, like what we saw in Black Ops 4, where there was 4 maps at launch, 4 added later. We've typically never gone past 4 DLC round-based maps, with the exception of, Zombies Chronicles during year 2 of BO3, but I guess it would raise a question, right? Why did they release the maps so close to each other if they were only going to have one more after Season 4? I get it. It's totally a question mark. The way I see it, though, is that with the current in-game files, unless they add some surprises with Season 4 or beyond, I think by now people probably would have found something in reference to another map after Janus Towers, or other assets that maybe just aren't for Janus Towers and are for another map. Right now, there seems to be very limited content left, which we'll of course circle back to in a different video, but Hellhounds or the Shatterblast ammo mod, a Mecha Klaus enemy type, and that's really it. There isn't much evidence to suggest that there's too much left for Black Ops 6 Zombies. Obviously, we know there's going to be other game modes and LTMs, surprise updates throughout the rest of the year, and I'm sure a big content drop for The Haunting in Season 6, but I think a lot of folks out there have really missed the point as to why Treyarch may only have one round-based map left, even though it wouldn't explain why they kind of rushed out Citadel and the Tomb so close to each other. I think it's pretty simple, right? They're going to want to do a little bit of a gap between DLC 4 and Black Ops 7 Zombies, just to avoid a little bit of burnout and let that game generate a bunch of hype, and just to have the Zombies community simmer down a little bit before the release of a whole other COD from the same studio. Now, usually if there's a new round-based map on the way, the title update before that next season or major update would have some information about said map, so at the very least we do know that the launch of Season 4 won't have the Janus Towers, or hey, maybe it will, and we'll all be mind blown, but maybe don't rule out that Season 4 Reloaded could have more information about the future of round-based zombies, although I'm betting more so towards the launch of Season 5 probably having the finale. Either way, Treyarch will probably acknowledge what the finale is, or if Janus Towers is the finale, in an upcoming blog post, probably with the start of our 5th season. Now, there have also been some arguments made that apparently there weren't any leaks regarding Forsaken for Cold War up until the map ended up getting teased by Treyarch and then released with the launch of Season 6 in that game. That's also a good point to make. Maybe folks out there just haven't found any evidence, but there is some, or we're not going to see any evidence of another map until later on in the year. Either way, though, if you really look back at the initial leaks for Black Ops 6, all the round-based maps we've gotten so far leaked out during like the beta window, especially when that alpha build for the PS4 ended up leaking. And on top of that, there was also this Discord leak somewhere where I guess a developer was playing all of the maps. And without going off too much on a tangent there, it looks like all the maps that we've gotten so far were leaked out many months back. So since then, there's been nothing added about another map. That's why I'm not too confident in a DLC 5, but if there is one, then so be it. Totally excited to cover that. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. Figured I'd throw out a bonus zombies video here for the weekend, going over some of the latest changes and some brand new rewards that you may not have known about. With that being said, really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.